The grand hall shimmered. Gods and goddesses filled the hall, a brilliant display of divine power. The air crackled with heavenly energy. Then, bang, the doors exploded inwards. Malum stood in the ruined doorway. He was a figure of pure evil, dressed in black iron that radiated ancient wickedness. At his side stood two figures, each as powerful as their master. Kira, a vision of unearthly beauty, her eyes sparkled with a cold fire. A see-through gown clung to her, its fabric moving like smoke. She smiled, a slow, cruel curve of her lips. Beside her stood Blum, huge and furious. Arcane symbols were etched into his skin, his eyes burned with an evil light. He cracked his knuckles, a sound like thunder in the stunned silence. The gods and goddesses stared in shock. Never had their sacred place been violated like this. A wave of worry spread through the hall. The air itself seemed to grow colder, tainted by the evil that surrounded the intruders. Kira's laughter broke the tense silence, a sound like shattering ice. She leaned against Malum, her touch possessive, her eyes taking in the fear and awe of the assembled gods.
Don't look so surprised, darlings. We just thought we'd pop in for a little chat.
Blum slammed his fist into the marble floor, the impact sending cracks spreading across the sacred stone.
Silence. You will speak to your superiors with respect.
Aphrodite, goddess of love, hid her worry with a cool smile. She met Kira's gaze, a hint of defiance in her eyes. The tension in the room increased, a real, heavy feeling. It felt like reality itself was struggling under the weight of so much power. Poseidon, unable to hold back his anger any longer, stood up from his throne. His trident crackled with blue energy.
How dare you disgrace this holy hall? You will leave immediately or face the consequences.
He raised his trident, aiming it at Malum's heart. In a flash, Blum moved. He was a blur. He stopped Poseidon's attack, his hand gripping the trident's shaft. The air crackled and sparked as divine energy met pure strength. For a moment, the two seemed equally matched. Then, with a grunt, Blum twisted his wrist. The trident flew from Poseidon's hand, clattering against the far wall. Poseidon stared at his empty hand, shocked. Never before had his power been so easily overcome. He looked from Blum to Malum, a flicker of fear in his eyes. The other gods watched in stunned silence, the reality of what was happening sinking in. They were facing something ancient, something powerful, something very, very dangerous. Malum raised his hand, silencing the murmurs of shock and anger.
Quiet. I haven't come for war, not today. I have a message for all of you.
He looked around the hall, his gaze stopping for a moment on each of the gods and goddesses.
The old ways are ending. The world of mortals is ready for change, and we, he gestured to himself and his companions, are here to bring in a new age. An age of power, an age of darkness.
He smiled then, a chilling, humorless smile.
An age where we rule.
Zeus, king of the gods, stood up, his face furious. Beside him, Hades, lord of the underworld, watched with cold amusement. Athena, goddess of wisdom, narrowed her eyes, studying their enemy. Only Apollo, god of prophecy, remained silent, his gaze fixed on Malum's armor, his expression serious. He alone recognized the ancient evil it represented, the terrible things to come. Malum had unleashed forces he might not be able to control, forces that threatened to destroy everything. The gods had just been warned. Doom was coming.